Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Hunter and the Beast Early Access multiplayer action for Total War Warhammer 2. We're here once again with the Lizardmen, this time on Altdorf Outskirts, going to be taking on the Empire led by Italian Spartacus. So, the topic of today's video is fire. Yes, indeed. Both the Empire and Lizardmen got some new fire stuff that we're going to be taking a look at today. Lizardmen first, then Empire next. Obviously, the Fire Slan being the thing for the Lizardmen. I didn't really take a super fire-focused build here. I don't have any other units that cause fire damage, but the build is focused around double vortex. So obviously, Lore of Fire having access to my favorite vortex in the game, Flamestorm, which is absolutely hilarious. If you overcast it, it almost lasts a full minute. So that's great. Of course, he's got Banishment, being a Slan as well. So we're going to be looking to throw out a ton of big Bunker Buster damage spells. To help facilitate that, we've got a ton of Skinks, mixed Red Crests, cohort of Sotek. We've got a Skink cohort, and yeah, single Feral Carnosaur. We've got Legion of Chocolates to help shield the Slan from missiles, and the Star Chamber Guardians, in addition to 3 Skink Skirmishers. For Italian's Empire, he's got the Hell on Wheels, going to be opening up with some nice skirmish action right off the bat. Marcus Wolfhart leading the way. We've got a Great Cannon in the back, some Spearmen and Swordsmen in the front line here, 3 units of Huntsmen, including the White Wolves. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Light Wizard as well. And let's see here what he's got. It does look like he cut Exorcism, so one thing most people, and I'm sure Italian just did this purely out of habit, most people will never take Exorcism right now because it's one of the worst lore attributes in the game, but I will show you guys this in just a second. But in this patch, they actually changed Exorcism to where it now gives map-wide immune to psychology to friendly troops for 11 seconds when you cast a spell. So for the Empire, this is a huge change. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. As for the battle, you can see the Hell on Wheels pulling back to a more defensive position here, and it has been doing some really nice damage so far to those Skink Skirmishers. Likewise, the cannon popping a couple shots on the Toadman himself. I'm a little late with my missile resistance buff there from the Chocolate Legion, so they are not going to be able to mitigate that, unfortunately. There are some Reichsguard and a Warrior Priest hidden out here on the periphery as well. But yeah, so far so good. The Hell on Wheels is going to start to open up shots on the Feral Carnosaur here, and Skinks engaging in the front line, obviously against Empire State troops. The regular Skink cohort will do okay. The red-crested Skinks will beat them, but unfortunately getting netted and shot here by those Huntsmen. Not the best situation, obviously. That being said, I have a lot of Skink numbers, and you can see Italians just having a little bit of issues with that. A very lucky situation for me. The Hell on Wheels actually rampages the Feral Carnosaur directly into itself. Had done a ton of damage to it already, like about half HP damage, a little bit more. But thankfully for me, it did rampage straight into them. They do have okay defensive stats, not going to die immediately, so they do pull away a little bit there, trying to get back into a defensive position. Unfortunately, there's just not too many Empire infantry to protect. In fact, there's no Empire infantry to protect. But here comes the moment we've all been waiting for. At least I have been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. I have to admit, guys, I've wanted a Fire Slan for a long time, and now we've got Banishment and Flamestorm both rolling off at the same time, and that Flamestorm just literally killed 2 entire units of Spearmen, just traced a nice little line around my Skinks, so it didn't hit too many of them, and now it's going to roll off and start to go into these Huntsmen as well, generating some excellent value, like 1,200 points in value. Pretty good stuff. You can see the Hell on Wheels did get routed off. Might come back, might not, we'll see. But the Carnosaur has taken a lot of damage as well, so definitely a bit of a trade there. The Great Cannon, unfortunately, getting shreked by Red Crests, and the White Wolves here in melee against the Carnosaur. They do have okay melee stats, but again, not exactly a situation that you would want. As for this flank here, the peasant, not peasants, they're not peasants, they're professional soldiers, right? The state troops holding up okay. These Reichsguard had come in. They tried to get a charge on the Slan there, but looks like he was able to defend himself. That bow shot from Marcus just did a ton of damage, though. So obviously moving Legion of Chakwa in to try and protect. And I'm going to get the Star Chamber Guardians as well for the physical resistance. But if we look at the rest of the battlefield here to kind of take a bit of an overarching look, you can see Reiksguard now getting another charge. They're going to charge in here with the Warrior Priest and probably get a nice juiced up Hammer of Sigmar, Shield of Faith and everything. So they are racking up quite a few kills. I didn't catch. They've already got 109 kills in an XP chevron. Must have cleaned up a whole bunch of units out in this periphery area over here. But yeah, the skinks are dying, but they are also getting the work done that they need to. Unfortunately, the Carnosaur is just about down. It does look like the Hell on Wheels came back, if ever so briefly, to finish off the Carnosaur there. Unfortunately for Italian, his Light Wizard is a little bit caught up here by these red crests. They're poisoning him and bopping him with their little maces there, so that's pretty good stuff. Meanwhile, Wolfheart, still relatively healthy. Honestly, hadn't taken too much damage because I haven't really had the tools to deal with him, but Reiksguard here coming to support, trying to take out the Salon very aggressively, and, you know, I understand that. He's definitely a powerful character. Already has racked up 158 kills between those two Vortex spells, so pretty good stuff. Marcus is going to throw a net in here and try and extricate this Warrior Priest, it looks like, maybe? No? Yeah, they are snared. The Warrior Priest is able to get away there, and then the Salon also gets snared as well. You can see I'm going to throw down a Banishment. That was a little bit misplaced. It's going to be directly on top of my own troops, or sorry, a Flamestorm. I had meant that to go on the Reiksguard there, but, you know, that's alright. We're pretty far ahead on the bounce power at this point anyway. Most of the Empire State troops have been routed. This Light Wizard's going to go off back towards the front gate there and run back inside the city. And the Hellblaster have been getting some work done, but now going to get caught up once again by some skinks here. And the Red Crests, once they get the poison in, this thing won't be fast enough to get away. So specifically, actually, the Red Crests are going to be really good at chasing the War Wagons because they're fast enough and they have the poison. The Salon, unfortunately, gets sniped out by Wolfheart, but it's not going to be enough to win the battle necessarily. That being said, I mean, with the Salon gone and this Carnosaur is about to be routed off by Mr. Wolfheart himself as well, the Warrior Priest comes in with a nice hammer blow to the tail, and this thing is gone. So with the two big dinos dealt with, you would think that a couple contingents of Reiksguard could just sally forth from the city and ride down what's left of these skinks. And yeah, pretty fun battle, honestly. Very well played to Italian. I know he doesn't play multiplayer necessarily as often as like myself or Turin, but still, very good showing from him. I do think there were a couple of mistakes that he made, but yeah, that Carnosaur just gets taken down by Wolfheart there at the end, so he did his job of hunting the two monsters. It was just the rest of the army that didn't quite do enough. Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate situation with the Hellblaster. It still was able to generate some really nice value, though. Even though I got very lucky with that Enrage, it had my Carnosaur enraged directly into it. A little bit unfortunate for Italian, bad luck there, but obviously he was still able to get some good work done initially with it, and it did come back a little bit there in the late game to get some work done. I think the biggest, the roughest thing I should say for Italian was having his Reiksguard deployed over here meant that they weren't really able to respond when I started wrapping around this flank with the skinks. If they had been maybe in a defensive position, like hidden in the forest, I don't know, maybe right here or maybe over here somewhere, they could have potentially rode forth to ride down the skinks that were sort of pushing on this side. Maybe he would have been able to protect. I mean, obviously the Carnosaur was over there as well, but if the Carnosaur enrages into the Reiksguard and then the Reiksguard lead him away, that potentially saves the Hellblaster as well, right? So I think, honestly, if the Reiksguard had been into position to prevent that flanking maneuver, Italian had a pretty good shot of winning that one out, because, I mean, at the end, he had taken care of two of the main win conditions. It's just his Reiksguard were no longer on the field, able to deal with the rest of the infantry. And, of course, having the Hellblaster online a little bit longer, you know, would have been helpful in taking out these two elite infantry as well. So, yeah, honestly, pretty good battle at the end of the day, though. Super fun to take double Vortex with the Salon. I've done it with Lore of Heavens and Lore of Light for some time now, but Fire, Flamestorm, just because it lasts so long when you overcast it, has always been my favorite Vortex. So now that you can take that plus Banishment on a double Vortex Salon, I am a happy camper. Let's go ahead and go to the next fire-based replay, this time for the Empire, of course, versus the Vampire Counts. So this time we've got the generic Huntsman General. We've got a Lore of Fire Wizard, obviously, and a Warrior Priest with the Banner of Eternal Flame. In terms of the rest of the army, Spearmen, Swordsmen, one of them has got a few chevrons, a couple Knights of the Blazing Sun, couple Pistoliers. We've got the Royal Altdorf Griffites. They are going to be the ones that primarily receive the Banner of Eternal Flame here. Of course, it will hit everyone else in this pocket as well. You can see like even these Spearmen and Swordsmen have that flaming damage as well. So yeah, and then obviously the Hammer of Sigmar are going to be juicing them up as well. And then to top it all off, we've got the nice Luminarch. Again, we've got extra nets here, and the Luminarch does also do fire damage. So we're going to go ahead, put a Cascading Fire Cloak just to proc Kindle Flame and try and blast the corpse cart that Italian's brought. He's got a Vampire Count's army, Vlad the Dad on foot with a Banshee Babe. We've got Graveguard on the front line with some Skeleton Warriors and a couple of Cairn Wraiths. Out to the flanks, we've got some Hounds for Harass, and there are also 2 units of Blood Knights for some heavy hitting. So yeah, let's talk briefly about the Huntsman General as we go through this skirmish phase and why I've brought him over, say, Marcus Wolfhart. So the Huntsman is all about fire damage and fire synergy. First things first, he's got this Oil Flask ability, which gives minus 48% speed and 50% weakness to fire on contact. It only has 3 charges, and it is a very short range. Only 70 range is, comparatively very short. And, it also has a tendency to miss. It's not wildly accurate, but it can hit multiple units. Now, just quickly, you can see Italian's going to try and pressure my Luminarch here with these Hounds. Thankfully, I do have the Knights of the Blazing Sun in a position to protect. But, so you get that Oil Flask for some extra fire synergy. In addition, he's also got this Hail of Fire that gives reload skill and fire damage to everything in an area of effect. Very good for stuff like Huntsman. I don't have anything that's going to be wildly useful for, except for maybe these Pistoliers, but hey, it's an extra way to get some fire damage. You can see the Banshee's getting absolutely nuked right now. Obviously, Knights of the Blazing Sun have fire damage, and again, we talked about the Altdorf Griffites already, who are now swinging out to the flank here to get a hold of some of these Blood Knights with their elite anti-large AP. And yeah, so far so good. Probably could be throwing out a few more Kindle Flames here, but that's okay. Banshee's getting taken down, and you can see already on the balance of power, things are not looking great for the vampires, just from some of the damage that has been done initially. It's going to be a very nice Wind of Death cast down the line of these state troops, though. Does quite a bit of damage. Doesn't quite catch the full width of that second unit, but now you can see the oil slick there. And the Luminarch blew up the corpse cart instead. So unfortunately, we don't get to see Vlad get absolutely nuked there with that 50% weakness to fire. But we'll try and get another use out of it soon. But here come the Blood Knights, again, trying to get on the Tempelhof Luminarch to bring this game back. If they could finish it off, they could maybe bring this game back. But of course, the Royal Altdorf Griffite's going to come in and say, no, sir. With the Warrior Priest getting in here, got some State Troop Spearmen supporting. And yeah, just looking real good at this point, honestly. Here comes a Burning Head, going to go down the line and try and wreck some of these Cairn Wraiths, obviously, since that's my primary way of dealing with them. At this point, they pretty much crumble away almost immediately. These Graveguard are still here fighting, though, against those elite swordsmen. Tempelhof has been able to get into a protected position. These Blood Knights getting a little bit caught up in the center pocket here. They are sustaining reasonably well, but all of a sudden the Huntsman General finds himself uncomfortably close to Mr. von Karstein here, and Vlad is going to teach him a nasty little lesson. Just kick him in the spine there. Man, that's got to hurt. Thankfully, the Huntsman General is eventually able to extricate himself, and we've got some Knights of the Blazing Sun coming down as well for a super nice rear charge here. But yeah, although this battle is mostly decided at this point, I still wanted to see, okay, let's try and see if we can't do something with this Oil Flask, right? And so we are going to get that going in just a moment here to see if we can't hit multiple units with it, since it seems like it kind of does like a little explosion here. So here comes the Oil Flask. And yep, you can see it hits there. And that little explosion, I just want to point out that it does hit multiple units here. So like these Cairn Wraiths, all these units are weak to fire, and we are just going to rip them apart with this massive Burning Head as they have an extra 50% weakness to fire. Doesn't do quite as much to the Blood Knights, but even those Graveguard with their heavy armor, which, you know, Burning Head would normally not do that much to, just got torched by that. Absolutely torched. So I do think that, obviously sniping a single target with that Oil Flask with, like, the Luminarch could potentially be really strong. But I honestly think that it could be better used for area of effect damage spells like that. You throw it into a blob of enemy troops, and then throw a Burning Head or a Flame Storm or even Piercing Bolts of Burning, whatever area of effect damage spell floats your boat. you're going to be able to do a ton of extra damage. 50% extra, especially on some of those damage spells, is going to be massive. So I do think that the oil flask for area of effect damage will be really nice. For single target sniping, it'll be a little bit trickier to use, but it could have some potential there as well. But yeah, the Bright Wizard, Warrior Priest, Huntsman General, you know, this heroic combo, these three together, are going to become pretty common, I think, in some certain matchups. Tomb King is going to have a really bad time against this. All of their lords are going to get sniped really hard by the Empire now, I think. I mean, maybe not if your opponent chooses not to do it, but I mean, this is a pretty extreme example, but still, with all the new fire synergy, the access to fire damage and everything, it was already pretty tough, but the new stuff makes that much tougher. Other matchups that could be good in include Norska, Skaven. I could see the extra damage from the oil flask being really good against things like I think Hell Pits are base weak line to fire anyway, but even just like Storm Vermin, because Lore of Fire is a very common pick in that matchup already. So just having him, he can snipe artillery pieces, he can snipe, you know, Ikit, he could even snipe Skrulk probably really effectively too. Just in general, I think he's going to be a really nice pick in that matchup. But let's go ahead and go back briefly to the Lizardmen, just because I didn't get to talk too much, and that build I had wasn't fully synergized around fire. So if we go ahead and take a look here at the Lizardmen and just kind of theory craft some things around the fire salon. In fact, I may already have a pre-saved build here. Let me see, because oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is sort of a build that I had come up with to sort of facilitate that nice fire build. There are a few changes you could make, but let's just go over some things briefly. Oh man, it looks like I'm actually over on my single entity cap, so I'm going to have to cut one of these ancient salamanders, or the ancient salamander rather, because honestly they're not that great. And we'll replace them with the Umbral Tide. But okay, I think everything should be good now on the single entities. Yes, okay. So we've got the Slan here. He's got Fireball. Ooh, I do need another spell though, honestly. Just Fireball is not enough, so I probably need to come in here and fine-tune some of this. Let's cut one of these Skink Skirmishers down. Or, you know what, actually, let's do this. Let's keep that. Let's cut one of these Saurus Warriors down to Red Crest, just to have some extra poison and AP in the front line. And that'll give us the extra money we need to buy some spells here. So let's grab Burning Head, because we want that area of effect damage. Or, you know what, this is me. I'm going to grab Flamestorm. Even though it's probably less competitive than Burning Head, if you really wanted to be competitive, you'd probably take Burning Head. But let's just pretend now that we're going to do that. Likewise, if you took Burning Head, you could probably also afford to take this Aura of Pretzels, which is quite strong. So, you know what, we're actually just going to do that. And do we have enough? Yes, we do. That Aura of Pretzels, plus 27 melee defense and 30 armor, is pretty decent when the Slan is trying to get gooned. So from here, yeah, we've got our fire abilities to proc Kindle Flame, and we also have several units that cause fire damage. Salamander hunting packs, obviously, with their anti-large missile damage that also does fire. These guys no longer do primarily AP damage, as that is now the role of the Razor Dawn hunting packs. But they do obviously do fire damage. Solar engines also do fire damage as well, so we can kind of synergize in that way. I was considering bringing some Fire Leech Bolas, but I think I would be a little bit thin in my front line if I were to do that. Although what you could do is maybe cut one of these hunting packs for a Fire Leech Bola, and then then we have enough points to even like upgrade this Red Crest to another Fire Leech Bola maybe. That would give us even more fire damage and doesn't put quite so many marbles on ground skirmishers, and does give us some air flexibility as well. I haven't been the biggest fan of Fire Leech Bolas just because I feel like they don't do that much damage, but maybe with Kindle Flame synergy they would be a little bit better. I don't know. This is sort of a stretch, I think, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Definitely looking forward to trying this build. I haven't actually gotten a chance to try it out yet, so once I do, I will be sure to bring that video to you guys. So thank you once again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do like this sort of content, you want more early access action, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.